What's your thoughts on this situation now, where with a lot of these UAE influencers who are claiming that the situation isn't that bad?
You know, it's funny, dude, because I started seeing a lot of this stuff popping up on my feed today, and I was wondering, like, why is all this, pro Dubai content coming out talking about safety? And then, as I kept scrolling through my feed, I quickly realized why. I saw a couple of influencers like taking pictures of themselves at the airport or taking off, a bunch of crypto bros and shit like that, saying like, "Hey, I'm leaving, Dubai. It's too dangerous here, blah blah." So I anticipate there was probably some type of, you know, coming there's something coming down from the government like, look, if you're an influencer in Dubai, do us a favor, say it's safe, blah blah blah. I know MBZ, Mohammed bin Zayed, if I'm not mistaken, he even came out and gave a public statement that, look guys, Dubai is safe, you know we're not going to fail you, it's our duty to keep you safe. So I've seen an enormous amount of, in the past 24 hours, an enormous amount of like a PR push and PR, trying to save face with what's going on in the UAE right now.
I mean, we're looking at the UAE. The market is down 20%. It's not looking great for them. What's your I mean, do you think, because we've got two different opinions on this. One is obviously Simon's opinion, who thinks that actually this is a after this UAE is going to become better, stronger, even more proficient. And then you have like Professor Jang, as for example, who thinks that this is the end of UAE, it's the total collapse. Where do you lie on that the idea? And by the UAE, I mean the entire Gulf states actually.
Yeah. Oh man. This is such a complex question, and I'll kind of break this down by layers and say why. So, in order to really jump into this, we need to understand what the UAE is. The UAE is, for lack of a better term, uh, extravagant fucking desert, right? It has an enormous amount of infrastructure that was invested into it. They built it in the middle of the desert, looks beautiful, tourist attraction, etc. The two main industries out of Dubai, like the biggest ones that are revenue generators, pretty much, are tourism and oil. And obviously, they have other, revenue um, receiving industries as well. But tourism and oil are some of the biggest ones. And tourism is something that they've been focusing on for a very long time. As a matter of fact, I would argue Dubai's tourism industry has effectively set the standard across the Middle East. We see Saudi Arabia trying to replicate it. We see, the Gaza Strip trying to replicate it with Jared Kushner and Wickoff. So it's very clear that it's a lucrative business model that other people are trying to replicate in the Gulf. Now that we kind of know how the UAE's economy is set up, um, this is why this conflict is so bad for them. Number one, tourism. Tourism is contingent upon the guarantee of safety, right? Typically, people go to Dubai, and the number one reason they go there is for financial opportunity and safety. Obviously there's going to be the financial opportunity, but most people aren't going to take that financial opportunity at the cost of getting blown up by drones in the middle of a serious conflict. So that is going to scare off an enormous amount of tourists that want to come in and see the Burj Khalifa, or even expatriates that are there that are contributing to the economy, because obviously they typically came from somewhere else and they want to leave and get out, especially the people that have the money that Dubai is trying to keep in the country. Those people are going to flee, right? So that's one part of it. And then on the other end, the Strait of Hormuz is closed. So it's almost like the UAE specifically is getting fucked from both sides, because they're losing their oil revenue while simultaneously losing their tourist revenue, and their property values tanking right now, right? So this is a country that's been, building themselves up for decades, trying to become like the Las Vegas of the Middle East, and we're literally watching their economy crumble in front of us. So they're going to be put in this weird situation. If the United States doesn't effectuate the regime change, the UAE is going to have to have a very difficult conversation and say, okay, look, the USA has demonstrated that they're not willing to protect us when the rubber meets the road, or worse yet, they will protect the Israelis instead. Our security is not safe with the United States at this point. And don't forget that, the Israelis also attacked Qatar, right, a neighbor. So that also put the fear of them. So what they suspected was a bad security deal. Now it's being confirmed, now that the rubber is meeting the road. So I think this can have some serious implications for our presence in the Middle East, and I'm sure a bunch of other Gulf countries feel the same way. We have bases here. You're supposed to protect us. You're not doing your job. So the Gulf states are in an especially vulnerable situation. And obviously, this is playing into Iran's hands, because they know they can't inflict the same level of damage on the US. But what they can do is inflict damage on the US's allies that have influence over the US. And, they're going through it methodically, and they're just going to make the Gulf countries suffer and go from there. And I also think it's hilarious, right? To add insult to injury, and I'll land on this one. Obviously, you guys all know Trump dropped a truth post saying, "Oh, the Iranians have unconditional surrender to the Gulf states," blah blah blah. And then, obviously, right after the president projection said, "Hey, we apologize for attacking our Gulf state brothers," blah blah. But after Trump said that shit, clearly the Iranians were like, "Fuck this guy. We're gonna bomb the Gulf states again." Because this dude really thinks we surrendered. So I think Trump opening his fucking mouth actually got the Gulf states attacked again. So we'll see what happens. But the Gulf states are getting cooked right now, dude. The foundation of their economies is being trampled on with the Strait of Hormuz going on, and then the tourism.
If I may quickly, if I may give myself
Yeah, I
permission
agree.
quickly
I agree.
to
Sorry, did you
Myron's
have a
point,
question?
Sally, to Myron's point, just I would just want to add one more layer that investment and capital in general loves stability, and investment and capital hates instability, and especially hints of war. And mind you, we didn't get hints of war; we got war. So, for investment and capital to feel comfortable going back and reinvesting or doubling down, and that is why the panic of everyone on along the lines of, oh, it's very safe, oh, it's very safe. And any instinct would be, if it's safe, why are you saying it so long? Why are you freaking out? It's not safe. And if it's not safe, capital and investment flees the fuck out. Excuse my language again, Beatrice. Thank you.
Myron, so you're gonna answer?
No, no, that was basically my gist on what's going on with the Gulf states. And just to finish what I'm saying before, I'd be shocked if the Gulf states went back and openly embraced the United States and let them continue to have the military presence that they had before this war. And I know me and you kind of game plan some other things that could happen. Me and you discussed Pakistan. That might be another, person to go to, because the Gulf states have pretty much seen here that the U.S. doesn't have their back when it really matters. So I'd be shocked if the Gulf states allowed the U.S. to still continue that presence after this war is gone, especially if the regime is still in power. If the regime is still in power, I don't see politically why the Gulf states would keep the U.S. there like at full capacity, because now that invites more aggression from Iran. Unless there's like some unilateral fucking ceasefire, but who knows? Only God will know. So.
In terms of from Israel's perspective,